All right, welcome back to The Whole Lawyer. And as you know, before we even get started, please like and share and subscribe to the podcast. And today we got another very special guest. He is not an attorney because we dive into a whole lot of different things, but he is a husband, a father, a pastor, music producer. What else? This guy is
Man, I'm an attorney today, man. Let's go. I'm an attorney today.
everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Most importantly, this guy is my friend. We chop it up about a lot of things, and I think overall, I would say he is a leader, and he is someone who could speak directly to the things we're about to dive into today. And first on the docket is my guy. Well, not my guy. It's Shaq's guy, Sherrone.
It's your man's.
That's your man's. This guy, Sherrone Moore, former Michigan coach. Michigan football coach was just charged on Friday with third-degree home invasion, stalking, and breaking and entering, or entering without breaking after his detainment on Wednesday. They said my guy was in there looking like the Winter Soldier, man.
The crash out was crazy.
Crazy crash out. He took over for John Harbaugh after winning the championship. He's the coach, getting paid millions of dollars. Finds out that he's sleeping with his assistant. She's pregnant. He goes to her house with butter knives and all these different type of things, threatens her, threatens himself. And now he finds himself as a millionaire football coach to possibly a felon. What were your initial thoughts?
Man, you know it's crazy because like we laugh about it now, and I think we laugh because it's hard to believe that somebody could just fumble this situation. But also realizing how easy it is for somebody to fumble a situation if you're not careful. So my initial thoughts when I saw it on social media, I was like, wait, what? Like, what did he do? You know what I mean? Because there's one thing to mess up and to step outside of your situation. It's another thing to crash out the way he did, as if he went months and years or however long thinking that I would never get caught. You know what I mean? So it just seemed as if he was just oblivious or unaware or even deceived. I'm not saying by Shorty, but deceived by his own quote unquote status or strength, because you can be deceived by your position. Your position can make you feel like you'll never get caught. And so there's a lot of things that come out of the situation, but I think initially I thought to myself, oh man, he thought he was just in the clear no matter what he did. Right. And so like we see that with people in places of power, whether it's a head coach, whether it's people in the White House, you know what I'm saying? People in places of government, like some of our people in more important positions have done way worse than Sherrone Moore and haven't been found guilty or haven't been caught or have been caught and still get to keep their position. So it's a lot to come out of this, but I think initially I thought to myself, man, he deceived himself into believing that he would never get caught and never face consequences. And so he crashed out.
Facts. And so that leads us to like basically the topic of this pod is just like the responsibility of leadership. You're obviously in position of leadership, not only as a father and a husband of what, 7 now, the tribe?
No, 6. You're trying to push. Pushing way too much on me, man.
Like 6 is like that far off from 7. It might as well be 7.
Far from 7, man. Listen, man.
Watch I get a call next week. Watch I get a call next week. You know what? 7's on the way.
Listen, man. Don't let the chain fool y'all. I'm broke. I got this from a flea market. You know, I don't have Mike Todd money. I don't have Sherrone Moore money. I promise you, I'm in the clear.
Not yet. Nah, but being in a leadership position of your family and also your church and being in those positions for a long period of time, the responsibility of leadership. And people, when it comes to the Sherrone Moore situation, people are like, oh, why didn't she get fired? Or why wasn't she ridiculed? It's like, bro, he was her superior. When you're at a certain level, things are not fair. Things are not fair. You have a certain weight on your shoulder when it comes to these type of things. So speak to that. What responsibility did he have? Because like you said, people are in these positions all the time. They sleep with their assistants, the secretary, all these things. And people want to make it seem like that's normal. But what responsibilities does somebody in leadership have when it comes to these things?
Yeah, man, the first thing I think about is that whenever you jump into a career, whether it's pastoring or lawyering or coaching, you are signing up for a relationship. I think a lot of times what we forget to realize or even understand is that you're not just signing up for the benefits that come with this thing, you're also signing up for the responsibility and the critique that come with this thing. And so I think a lot of times people sign up for fame without
Mm-hmm.
realizing the weight that comes with it, or without
Mm-hmm.
realizing that, yes, there's some benefit and people will know your name. But
Mm.
because people know your name, you now have the responsibility of now leading in a way that stewards things well and stewards things with wisdom. And so I think because, careers are a relationship or jobs are a relationship, I think sometimes we believe that we are always ready to be at the top just because we want the benefits, right? Like
Sheesh.
we believe, like I put in the work and my resume is extensive and I went to school and I grinded for this late nights, hard work, like no sleep. I deserve this, while
Deserve.
neglecting the fact that when you get there, it's more than just your hard work that's going to sustain that level
Mm-hmm.
of leadership. It's going to be your
Yeah.
heart. It's going to be where your mind is at. It's going to also be where your mental stability and how you handle like frustration, right? Because a job
Yeah.
like Sherrone Moore's job is a very overwhelming job. He's away from his kids, he's away from his wife. And so he's around this girl, right? Every single day, probably they're working together, they're consistently around
Mm-hmm.
each other, probably
Giggling,
away
laughing,
on like,
inside
yeah,
jokes.
kiki and pow wowing in the hotel lobby, doing all types of, you know what I'm saying? Like
At
they,
the
you
hotel
know what I
pool.
mean? It go from like, yeah, let me get a water to yeah, let me get some Tito's and pineapple. Like it just
Mm.
everything. Like when you
Look at that
when
Hetty and
I
cranberry
say
real
that
quick,
to say
man.
when you are ready for the job, but not necessarily ready for the relationship, that's where things can kind of go crazy because you can be a very good coach, assistant coach. You could be good with film. You can have an extensive resume in the locker room and be ready for the job, but not necessarily be ready for the weight that comes with that job. And so this goes into how like some people just need a little more time as an assistant, right? Some people just need a little bit more
Sheesh.
time, not at the top, so they can realize like, yo, there's some things in the heart that I need to work on before I get to this place, because at this place, the higher I go, the harder my fall is going to be. So I just think that we have to be prepared on all fronts for the responsibility that comes with not just the job but the relationship.
How hard is that to recognize though? Because
It's,
especially
it's
now, we're especially when like first of all, people need more money. So it's like if I'm an assistant and I have an opportunity to get more money, I need to pay these bills. Eggs expensive, gas expensive. Not only that, but it's like you said, people have been working so hard. It's hard for somebody
yeah,
to have that type of self awareness to be like, I may have worked hard to get here, but my heart is not in the right place. So let me take a step back and take some time. How can you get to that point of realization within
it's
yourself?
hard to get to that point, man. Like, and in some cases, sometimes you gotta fall. Like, unfortunately, I
Mm,
feel like he's probably the type of dude that needed this to happen for him to
mm,
realize that he was just not ready for fame. You know what I'm saying? Or just not, ready to steward his responsibility of leadership with integrity. Um,
yeah,
and I think you can become such a grinder in your field, right? You can become such a hard worker in your field that you neglect working on yourself. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And when you're not doing both simultaneously, one always overrides the other. You feel what I'm
Facts.
saying? And so
Facts.
it can become so easy to like grind to get to the top. It's why, we talk about pastors, lawyers, everybody. Like it's so
Yeah.
so easy to grind to get to the top, and
Yeah.
then you start feeling like I'm this big dog,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You start feeling like you're untouchable. Like, man, I did this. Like I got here. And once you become self-absorbed and you become selfish and you become prideful, all it takes is one little baddie to slide through, because now you've put yourself in a predicament where it's all about pleasing you. You know what I'm
Man.
saying? Like, you forgot that it was about the boys at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you forgot that it was
Yeah.
about the young men who are in 10th, 11th grade who need your scouting. You forgot that it was about the other assistant coaches under your leadership that may need opportunities. So I think sometimes we can forget that every one of our decisions affect the people who need us. Like Sherrone Moore, he had not just his wife, most importantly, his children, most importantly, but he also had a staff. He had players. He had people coming up under him that probably needed him to open doors. And like I told you, now he got a place where he got to go work at Harold Elementary as offensive coordinator. Talk about, I was in this position, don't mess it up. Tears in his eyes and all type of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now you
100%. He
know,
gonna be with Eric the hip hop pastor, the hip hop preacher.
He's gonna be definitely gonna be a motivational speaker. Hey, Sherrone, we hired at the church, dog. Come through, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to laugh at homie's pain, but what I'm really that's real. It is hard to get. Yeah, it's hard to get to that point because society teaches us work hard, get the job, be stable financially, but neglect everything on the inside. Right? We work so hard for the exterior. Let me go get the house. Let me go get the car. Let me go get enough of vacations. Let me go. You know what I'm saying? He is, and I'm saying he because he represents so many of us, because so many of us could be him, right? He represents us.
Facts.
He is performing because life told him he needs to make everybody happy. And he has totally neglected himself. You know, hence why he crashed out the way he crashed out. Because he finally came to himself, bro. You know, I always bring in scripture, but like the Bible said, the prodigal son, when he left his inheritance to go spill and splurge on his portion. So he left his identity. He left everything that he was going to have forever just to take his portion and go. And the Bible said he came to himself. And that's when he went home. So he had to go be in the pigsty to realize that life was way better when I was home. You get what I'm saying?
Man.
And so like sometimes it takes coming to yourself to really be at that place of being self-aware enough to make those decisions, man. But
man,
you know, we talk about this all the time, man. Anybody could be in his situation. Anybody.
Facts. And I want to speak on two things, but you're right. When you spoke about the players, and I forgot to add to your resume that you also are a coach. You do that too.
Yeah.
Do you think that's important to let, like, what can the players learn from this? And I think you just said it, where it's like, it's so easy for us to be in this position. As men, as black men, I think that's something we definitely need to talk about, because like you said, it's easy for us to be like, yo, you idiot, but people don't want to talk about the struggle men go through on the regular. Black successful men,
come on, man,
and they be on you, man, and you gotta have some control.
Immediately.
You gotta have the self control. The wives gotta know how much warfare we be going through.
Listen,
just
man,
to make it back home.
Just to make it back home. All we trying to do is make it back home.
That's all we trying to do. We don't want no shorties on us. We don't want no police to stop us. We trying to make it back home. That's every day.
A part of that is, and I want to stray away from the conversation behind, because I know it's easy to have a conversation of like, what wasn't he getting at home for him to do this? Right? I think sometimes those conversations are harder to get into because there are some people that can have everything. Still, you know, mess up.
Yeah.
And it's not just, I want to make it clear that it's not just the wife, right? But like, who was around him?
Facts.
What type of people was around him pouring into him? Right? What type of friends, what type of brothers, what type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, did he set himself up when he was on the road to have his coaching staff be accountable to him? Right?
Yeah.
One of the things about leadership is that it's important for you to trust the people under you to be over you, right? Like, you gotta have people in your life. Like, he gotta have a homeboy that's, you know, on staff or whatever, being like, yo, bro, like, I think it's 10 p.m. I think you should
Facts.
The hotel room. You know what I'm saying?
It's time
like,
to go home.
Yo, I think
Facts.
it's time to like go upstairs, like, or like when the boys have curfew, like maybe I think you should go have curfew too, if you know, you know what I'm saying, that you're susceptible to these things. So there's also a conversation to be had around accountability and men, especially black men, in these spaces of not just fame, but in leadership. Like, I think it's important to have that. And so like, there's a conversation around that as it pertains to Sherrone Moore. Like my question is like who did he trust? Like who could he trust? Like who was around him? Who was covering him? Who was speaking life into him?
Or the question that people have been bringing up is, or was he enabled? People talk about being a coach or being in positions of power where this is the norm. Everybody knows that the CEO is sleeping with such and such, and it's just accepted. And people, and I don't like this argument too. It's like, oh well, all these other white coaches get away with it, and this one is like, bro, but you got caught. You went to Shorty's house with a knife. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you crashed out. It's like, so. But I think the other conversation is like, or was he enabled, or did he come to a place where it's like, oh, if everybody's doing it, then I could do it too. People talked about the wife might have been down with it too. All these weird things, but it's like if he's in a position where he feels like it's normal to do this thing, if all the coaches got side pieces, then I could go along with it too. But that's also a lesson in and of itself. It's like what our Persians tell us: like, if you see your friend go jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge too.
Yeah, you're not gonna go jump off a bridge. I think that's the enabling part of it is a very good conversation piece because you can be enabled by people in power that have also like hit things. Also, because like all these coaches is connected, right? So he's probably in group text with some of the other guys, Division I coaches, and you know he probably been to their house, they've been to his house, they probably kicked it together, and so like, who knows what this brother saw people do and thought, or it could just be as simple as this: he was in this position of power and was prepared for the job, wasn't prepared to be a leader. That's what, like, for me, not me personally, that's what it comes down to. Because we could go get a job interview and we could ace the interview, but what they never tell you is that when you are in leadership, everything you do is connected to everything here. Every single thing you do. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm pretty sure he knew that, but I don't know if it really registered in his head. Another thing we got to talk about is like fumbling that bag.
Yo, facts.
Like you got to be really down bad to fumble that. Like what you think? Because like I told you, I'm not fumbling that for $50K.
If it's $50, I need that, bro.
I need 50 right now. I'm not. Listen, let me cover my chain.
Yo, let me tuck my joint too, man.
Now watch away, man. You gotta roll it.
That's with you, man. Apple Watch, like second generation. It's the old version.
Do you think that him having the opportunity to make that much money, you know, $13 or $15 million, like, or it could have even gone to him having a $30 million contract? Do you think that the bag is an enabler, or do you think it's one of those things that should be like, yo, you gotta chill? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a power in both, in my opinion.
You're right. I ain't never seen 16 mil. That never hit my checking account through direct deposit. So I don't know what that would feel like. But like we spoke about earlier, is like if he's bringing in that money and he's on the road with these kids and playing these games, and his wife is at home, he feel like he got it. I'm providing for my family. I'm providing for my kids and my kids' kids. Maybe he feel like, I deserve this. I deserve to, like you said, treat myself or have this little side. But it's still I don't know. It's like, but it's still a stupidity to it. Because if you're being real, you got your side things and you shooting the club up. She got pregnant. It's like all these little decisions. All these little decisions is like you weren't thinking, and you made a point off the side. He was like, he's probably in love. He's probably in love with Shorty.
He was probably in love, bro. He was definitely in love.
Like nothing else. There's
no way.
He had because all these dumb decisions is only defined by love. Love make you do dumb things because no other ways. Like you make all these terrible decisions, and she was a Shorty, and you was just trying to make it do what it do. You must have been in love for you to make all these back-to-back decisions, and then you got the monies. He probably he felt untouchable. He must have felt untouchable.
So another talking point, and I want to ask you this. And a lot of people are not going to talk about this. They're going to stray away from it. They don't want to have the conversation. I tell you, have me up here. We're going to have
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Talk about it. like we also got to talk about being men, you know, black men, but I also feel like a lot of men, even in other races, feel this way too. So I want to make it like open it up, broaden it. But being men, working hard, getting to a point in your life where you feel like you have finally achieved something, but then feeling like you haven't achieved anything. Like there is a possibility that even though the millions of dollars was hitting his account, there's a possibility that he went back to the office or went back home or went back with his friends and went back with his family and felt like everybody's benefiting from me, but I don't feel like anybody is grateful for me. You feel what I'm saying? So like there's another conversation and they're not gonna like that conversation, but we gotta have that conversation. We gotta have that conversation. Is there a possibility that he could have felt like I'm taking care of everybody over here, everybody over here ain't taking care of me, and I'm over here in the lobby powwowing and shorty asking me, am I okay? Is there anything I can do to make you see what I'm saying? You don't have the conversation, man.
People don't know the power of "Are you okay?" They don't know the power of like, how did you eat today?
Are you okay?
Did you have lunch?
Today? Did you have? And again, I'm not saying that's all on his wife. I'm saying
right.
Core people, his family, his friends, people in his life that because you got to remember, once you start making millions, everybody's coming to you now.
Yeah.
Like we know that on a smaller scale to where like we provide. You know what I'm saying? And you know what it's like to feel, you know what I'm saying? Or I can speak for myself. Like I know what it's like to feel like I'm grinding.
Facts.
But like nobody's grateful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they may not be doing it on purpose, but you want to feel like the trophy you lift up in the game from his perspective isn't even as much satisfaction as the trophy in your real life.
Yeah.
Your home life, your friends, your core people. So I pose the question, do you feel like there's a lot of stress and overwhelmingness that can come from feeling like you're just giving, but you don't feel like anybody is, appreciating it?
100%. And that speaks to like this pod and where I started this in the first place, where I always say a lawyer is what I do is not who I am. Because when I passed the bar, when I became a lawyer, it felt amazing. I was so glad that I reached this place and it felt so good. But then in a month or so, I was like, all right, what's next? There's always going to be a next thing. So I could definitely see a space where he accomplished this thing and it didn't fill the void that he thought it would. And I tell people, I tell law students even now, I spoke on a panel even last week. I was like, make sure this lawyer is not your identity. Make sure being this thing and having this title is not your identity, because you're going to get to a place and you're going to be like, wait, I was supposed to feel like everything's supposed to feel solved now. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be fulfilled. And I'm not. What's going on? It's going to be a culture shock. So I could definitely see a world where he made it. Even we talked about like John Harbaugh signed his job into his contract. Like once he leaves, Sherrone Moore needs to be like, his life was set up. He had the path. He gets here and he was probably like, oh shoot, I'm still not happy. Or I don't know what's going on. It could be his wife, it could be his parents, it could be his brother, whatever. There could have been a life area in his life where it's like, oh, this is still not fulfilled. I still feel lonely. I still feel people like people are not grateful for the hard work I put in. I'm at this pinnacle in my home life where my relationships are not thriving. Like what's going on? So that can 100% be the thing. And I don't know how many examples we need to see in the media of people getting fame and money and still crumbling. and the response is always like, give me the money and I'll show you it'll work out. And part of it could be true, but go ahead.
I think it's an important conversation to have, and it's not us making excuses for him. But when you look at the situation, right, you have to look at the situation in detail, and you have to really break it down. Like he broke down mentally. Like what he did during this process over the last week was a mental breakdown. This was not a result of just him losing his job. This was not just a result of him stepping out on his family and doing something out of pocket. This is a result of somebody who probably hadn't sit in front of a therapist in a long time, who probably doesn't journal, who probably just works because they feel like I'm going to lose this at any point in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that mental breakdown was not just a result of this past week. That mental breakdown was everything, maybe childhood stuff, maybe things from his teenage years, maybe things from his grind trying to get to the top of the coaching pedestal, right? Like 38 years old, and he probably, as young as he is, he probably put in so much time, effort, energy, and work to get to this place, and all of it like crashed down on him. And you know what's crazy? He's probably going to be better mentally after the situation.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
He's probably going to be way, like his thinking is going to be free. Like that's the hope. That's the hope. But whenever people get into these situations, because he don't seem like he a bad dude. Like you don't see like he this dude that's like a sleazeball, somebody going around being like a criminal OD. Like he seemed like a decent cat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he, like even the cheating, even the, you know, in my opinion, your opinion, he fell in love with you. Like I feel like all of this was a byproduct of unresolved traumatic things, whether that's like trying to accomplish so much in the coaching world and not being able to really find your footing, but you finally get to this place where you get one of the top 3 to 5 coaching jobs in the country. And now you have a certain level of responsibility that requires a certain level of mental health. You get what I'm saying? And so I feel like the crash out was a result of the fact that sometimes we can work so hard to achieve this thing and neglect the heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Because let's be real. There's people who have cheated in sports and bounced back. There's coaches right now who have had scandals, not just cheating, but had scandals and still found a way to get a position. Listen, man, coaching a championship contender right now, like, and he didn't crash out like that. I agree with you. I think for a long time he probably felt something slipping.
Yeah,
and it was his biggest fear that if I lose out or something wrong happens, my whole life is gonna end. And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's why your mental is so important. And we spoke about earlier too. Like, I'm so grateful for our parents, elders in the church, pastors, who said thank God for being in our right mind, thanking God, reminding us that you are blessed because you are in your right mind. Because you don't realize that when you're a kid, but when you're older and you have all the stress of responsibilities on you, and you have a job, you got to pay for your own bills, and you got to be covering over your family, it's very easy to break. And going back to our conversation about just men having the responsibility and dealing with this, I'm trying to make it back home. The amount of men who are on the brink of not being in their right mind, you have no clue. That's why this is such an important conversation for our men out there to just, we pray for you, we love you, and you know that having to know that you're not alone and having to know that we understand the weight and responsibility, because certain men feel like if anything goes wrong, I'm going to lose it. And I feel like this happened to Sherrone Moore on one of the biggest levels ever, where something went wrong and he was like, oh, this is it. This is what I've been fearing my entire life. And he went to Shorty's house with a knife. Like, people don't do that. Like I always say, when I hear stuff like going, I'm like, it's either this person is legitimately crazy or something pushed him to that edge. And obviously this was his own fault, his own doing, but people aren't just crazy for no reason. There's something that broke them. So we have to be so grateful for being in our right mind that God has allowed us to be there, because not knowing that any little thing or any wrong turn can turn somebody's whole life over. Now this guy might be a felon. He, like you said, he might got coach 1C or semi-pro league as an offensive coordinator. I told him he should go work for Border Patrol or Customs. Just get off the grid. Like it's a real thing.
Yeah, I think, you know, my final thought on this is, you know, we know a lot of men who like we talked about earlier, have to grind. Like we
Yeah.
have to work. We have to
Yeah.
pour into like our families, pour into the people around us, and provide and protect and do all of these things. But I would also say that it is impossible, as much as we climb and as much as we grind and as much as we're chasing this success, it is impossible to chase success in a healthy way by yourself. It's totally impossible. And I think that so many men, so many of us men are at that breaking point because we don't have anybody to fall back on.
Man.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
I have a plan A, but I'm also this person's plan A, B, and C. You get what I'm saying? And I don't have a plan B. My plan A is to never have to use the plan B. You feel what I'm saying? Like, no pun intended. No pun intended.
Nah, that's a bar.
No pun intended.
Yo, he door dashed the plan B to the off. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
oh man,
this is just bad decisions, bro. Yeah. Who does that?
But
he was crazy.
Man. I say that to say,
yeah,
it's so important to cherish who you are more than you cherish what you do. You know, even for me, like as a pastor, I always say who I am to God is more important than what I do for Him, because I'm going to have seasons in my life where I'm not going to be as faithful to Him as I want to be. I'm going to have seasons in my life where I'm not going to be as committed as I want to be, as far as like serving and working, you know, in my field. And so what does it look like when the servant of me is failing and the son in me is failing? Jeez. Because it's the son in me that will always remind me of who I am and allow me to get there, because I know who my Father is. It's why when they ask Jesus, yo, how do we pray? And he says, the first thing he says is our Father. He didn't even ask for anything. The first thing he did was acknowledge his sonship before he asked God to do anything through him. And so sometimes I think we can neglect just being sons and brothers and friends and just people, being humans. And we can be so ready to toss those responsibilities to the side just to put on a crown and fail the people around us, the people under us, the people that we are called and designed to serve, just because we don't want to embrace the fact that the sonship might have you, or even the brotherhood, or even the friendship might have you in a vulnerable place where you got to actually express yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because the king in you is not going to express yourself. It's only the son in you. And so the son in you allows you to be real with you. The son in you allows you to be like, yo, I'm in need. I can't do this by myself. I can't overcome this alone. Like, I need some strength. You know what I'm saying? The king in you puts on the crown and perform. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing. It's one thing to perform, and then it's another thing to be postured as a son and as somebody who knows that you are always going to be in need, right? But some of us are placed in this situation where we feel like I got to always attend to what needs me, as opposed to leaning into what I need. And in order for me to pour into those that need me from a healthy place, like, I gotta be getting poured into too. So that would be my only like question that I would ask men is, like, who's pouring into you? What's pouring into you? Are you laughing? Are you having fun? Are you doing things that fill your soul so that you're not driving on E? You know what I'm saying? And I think that the Sherrone Moore situation can be a situation of somebody, or example of somebody that's just driving on E and finally ran out of gas. You know what I'm saying? And when you run out of gas and you ain't got nobody to call, and you run out of gas and ain't no gas station near for you to get a fill up, that's where he was at. That's where he was at. And there's a lot of men that's at that place.
Bro. Because you're right. Because after everything comes out about the cheating scandal, because they spoke about, like, they did an investigation like a couple months ago into the relationship, and they found nothing, yada yada. Even in those moments, I would have hoped there was somebody he could have called like, yo, stuff is going down. What should I do? How should I handle this? Because if there was anybody sane in his circle who was really helping him and pouring into him, they wouldn't advise him to go to Shorty's house and be like, listen, you messed up. Right. These are the results of your actions, but your life isn't over. This is not irredeemable. Your life isn't over. Like, here's how we should go about handling. You're going to take responsibility and we're going to move forward and yada, yada, yada. I don't think anybody told him that, because his response told me was that in his head, he was saying it is all over. He said it to his side piece. He was like, my blood is on your hands. He was ready to kill himself. I don't think there was anybody who was telling him it's going to be okay. You were wrong. Take accountability, but it's going to be okay. You are not, there's still grace for you. There's still life for you after this, but you're going to have to go through something to get there.
You know what that comes from? It comes from the fear of failure, right? The lack of vulnerability always comes from the fear of failure, because sometimes failure makes us, I always say that most of us don't necessarily struggle more with the sin than we do with the shame. Right? Like, it's one thing to sin, ask God for repentance, but then the shame that come with that, you get what I'm saying? So I think for him, like, he is going to have to get to a point where he's going to have to unlearn his whole life, because where he's at right now, he was at the top of the coaching world, right? And for, different people out there, you might be a lawyer, you might be whatever you are, you might feel like you're accomplishing this thing. And in accomplishing this thing, you can't really have no failures. And so, like, if you're on this journey where you can't really have no failures and you don't really know what it's like to fall, every feeling you get, you're going to want to hide. Right? So it might have started with a lust issue, and he might not have had nobody to tell that to, because he felt like he couldn't fail at anything. He felt like he had to be perfect. He felt like I can't have no flaws, because this thing that I'm trying to accomplish requires me to have a clean slate. And I think sometimes that's just a lie that we tell ourselves, that, like, we can't be human, right? And I think, but then that manifests and turns into, like, bigger things. Pause. Like, it manifests and turns into, like, crazier issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just think that we gotta even, like, teach our kids, like, yo, if you mess up, just come talk to me. If you make a mistake, just come talk to me, and we're gonna work this out. Because knowing that you have somebody safe to fall and to be vulnerable with takes away sometimes the pressure of perfection and the pressure of performance. And now you get to actually explore who you are. Like, you get to really get to know who you are and all of your giftings and all your talents. And now you're not just like, man, I got to accomplish this one thing in my life. If I could just accomplish this one thing in my life. And Sherrone Moore is probably just a byproduct of a person who just had this one goal in life.
Man,
there was no other goal. The goal wasn't to be a great husband. The goal wasn't to be a great father. The goal wasn't to be a great friend, a great brother. That just happened along the way. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Was to be the top of the top in my field.
Yeah.
And now that I'm here, I don't know how to handle it and handle these other things all at the same time, because I never knew what it was like to fall on a bed. I always thought that I was going to fall on concrete. You know what I'm saying? So I think we gotta, like, reshape and rewire the next generation into feeling safe with us, so that they could even, like, a 20-year-old doesn't have to know exactly what they're supposed to do. A 20-year-old should be exploring all of their talents and all of their gifts and figuring it out. I'm not saying be lazy. I'm saying work hard, be consistent, but also be open-minded to the things and the giftings and the talents that you know what I'm saying, you are given, and figure out how that works for you. And if in 2 years that thing is not, that's fine. But we have defined change as failure. We have defined change of mind as you fumbled the bag, or you dropped the ball, or you're inconsistent, or you're unstable. And I found that there are way more, like, healthy in the mind, healthy in the heart people who have just allowed their hearts to be open to whatever God's calling them to do, or whatever they're, you know what I'm saying, they're going to be impactful at, than this person who defines themselves themselves by this
But
one
it's
thing.
one thing.
By this one thing. And so they don't know what real falling and failure looks like because they've checked the boxes. You feel what I'm saying? And
Man.
you could check all the boxes and never check your heart. It's a fact.
Bro.
You can check all the boxes and never check your heart.
And you're right.
On this podcast. See,
listen, man, you gotta preach. That's all you hear, man. You gotta preach. You gotta preach these listeners. No, this is so real because I think this is one of the biggest things. Again, because everybody knows this is the lawyer podcast. I need lawyers to hear this because this is one of the most prestigious professions, and I can't tell you the amount of people who come on a podcast and they say, "Oh, my parents said I only needed to become a lawyer, a doctor, or engineer. Like you couldn't be nothing else." Or how? Like when I asked, "How did you start?" or "Where did you get this thing from?" A majority of the attorneys said, "My parents said this was the standard," and they set on this path, and they set on this path and said, "This is what I need to do." And like you said, if I fail, I'm going to fall on a concrete bed because my parents are going to hate me. My parents are going to disown me if I don't become this thing. I forgot what comedian it was, but he was saying like my parents, no, it was Wale. Wale just had an amazing album, record-selling artist, millions of dollars, whatever. And he said, my mom is still mad I'm not a doctor. I said, my mom is still mad I to become a lawyer because there's an expectation set for people from when they were young. So it creates the mindset and the atmosphere of like, oh, if I fail, if I don't make it, my goal has to be this one thing for my life to mean something. And it's not until you get older and you recognize, even when I accomplished that thing, where's my heart posture? Where are my relationships? Who can I call on? Yeah.
The last generation just created a bunch of people pleasers, for real. Like they just created a bunch of dead serious. Like you could be depressed with a degree, right? And they'll still be like, my son, my daughter graduated from such and such university. And you are sinking in debt, depressed, frustrated with life. Your bills are just overwhelming your life, and you're not happy. You have no joy. Like you're not being impactful. You're not influencing anybody positively. And you're finally at this place where you've realized, maybe I need to do something different, but you don't feel like you can because you were wired to make them happy. You were wired literally just for them to go to tell their coworkers that you got a degree.
All that work.
All that work
heartache
just for them to tell their coworkers at the factory that they've been at for 35 years. Like, you got some nerve judging me and you still making $15 an hour at the same time.
Bro.
You got some, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? So, like, again, we need lawyers, right? We need lawyers. Sherrone need a lawyer.
Nah, he need a good lawyer. He gonna
tap in. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. Like, we need lawyers. But we don't need people that are no longer passionate. We don't need people that no longer feel like this fulfills them.
Right. We don't need more broken people. We don't need more broken people, man.
And forget passionate, because you can be passionate about something and not love it no more.
Yeah.
You know how many people, bro, you know how many people passionate about God and don't love him? Just passionate.
That's
just
a whole other
go outside and tell the world Jesus coming back. And they mean as can be because ain't no God in them. You know what I'm saying? You could be passionate about something. You could go on the what do you call it? The stand. The lawyers go on the stand, or whatever they do. And you could be you could perform. You could do the job.
You could be very good at your job. Yep.
But when you go home, how do you feel? How do you process what you just did? How do you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not telling nobody to quit. I don't want y'all don't go to your job and be like, yo, this pastor dude told me I should quit, and I believe that that's God's will for my life. No, you got bills. But I'm saying you got bills. Don't blame me. But I'm saying be the lawyer and the creative. Be the lawyer and be the singer. Be the lawyer and be the IT person. Be the lawyer and be the content creator. Be the lawyer and be the person in the schools motivating the kids. You can be multiple things.
And be the son. Be the
and
uncle,
be the
be the
son,
nephew.
and be the uncle, and
Yeah.
be the friend. Like sometimes, no,
Yeah.
that's a good point. You know, that's a good point because we get so used to even chasing that we neglect
Yeah.
family.
Facts.
We
Facts.
neglect family. Now we're not hanging out with our peoples no more. We're not making the same calls
Mm-hmm.
we used to make. We're not
Mm-hmm.
playing dominoes. We're not playing spades. We're
Facts.
not doing any of the. We're not. You know what I'm saying? You might want to hop on the video game for a little bit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, just be. You know, the Bible
Yeah.
say, the scriptures say, be still and know that I am God. Which
Yeah.
means that if you're just constantly going, you would
You're
never
not gonna
really
know.
know. You'll never really know because the only way to know him is to truly sit in your original design, which is a son. That's your original design. Like your original design isn't lawyer. Your original
Man, it's
design
not.
isn't pastor. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I work for the kingdom. But I
Right,
know,
bro.
but listen, I'm not going to die for people that Jesus already died for.
Whew.
Respectfully. Not dying for people Jesus already died for. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
bro.
So
Taken care of.
do not die just because you want your mom to say, look what my son did. Don't
Man.
die because you want your pops to say, look what my daughter did. Like don't die in the passion while losing the love. You know what I'm saying? Like
Man.
go be all the things, man. Go be all the things. Like I feel
Man.
like that's what we need to encourage. You feel me?
That's amazing. And that's a perfect way to end this, but I'm sure there's somebody gonna be like, I hear you.
So we're
How
not
do I
talking
start?
about Shedeur? Hold on. Yo, listen. Listen. Spirituality aside, y'all be all the things, you know what I'm saying? Don't quit your job. We did
You
all
wanna
that.
go to Shedeur? We can talk about Shedeur. I'll try to keep it
I
under
thought you
the hour, but we can go. We can keep going.
you gotta keep it under an hour.
No, I was trying to keep it short, but now we can keep going. We can talk about
Anyway,
Shedeur.
anyway,
Let's talk
give me,
about it.
can we pull up, what was the score? Can you tell me the score to the game, too?
Chill. We'll get to that. But
No.
before we
Nah, do
get
your
to
thing.
that,
Do your thing.
before we get to that, tell somebody a practical step. Like they're in a position. It don't got to be a lawyer. It could be I want to go into ministry. I want to be a doctor, engineer. And I do feel like it's becoming my identity. I want to have a wealth of a whole life. What are some practical steps? How can they start making
Yeah.
steps right now to be like, I'm trying to change who I am and not crash out and go to shorty house with a butter knife?
Yeah. I would say the first step is to not just get up for work, but get up for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people just get up, get ready for work, and go work for a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what are you doing for you before you get to working for that person, or before you get to the
Yeah.
business, or before you get to the office? You get what I'm saying? And so some of the practical things is like waking up before you have to wake up and journaling, or sitting in silence for like 15 minutes, like
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be you before you got to be the leader, the boss, the lawyer, the doctor, the whatever. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
that for me, that has always helped me. That has always been something that I try to do. Sometimes I'm consistent with it. Sometimes I mess up, but like I try to
Yeah.
get up and I try to like journal. I try to write things down that I'm grateful for. I try to write things,
Yeah.
even just writing sometimes my prayer. But always starting your day with silence allows you to start your day as a son or as a daughter or as just a friend or as just like not having those responsibilities immediately. So don't just get up for your job, but get up for your heart.
That's perfect. That's good. I love that. They're gonna learn from this. All right, we can talk about Shedeur now. we can talk about Shedeur. Let's get into it. Talking about the weight and the responsibility of
Here
a
we go.
platform and of leadership. I don't know the last time a kid has had so much on his shoulder that you want to talk about. Let's not baby. Nobody's babying him, but the position that Shedeur is in is so tough because every single play is going to be dissected. And my posture from the beginning was Shedeur played well enough in college to have a longer runway than this. He is now faced with every game has to be perfect or else his position will be will be taken from him. Cam Ward has been terrible all season. He's 1-11. He showed signs. That's why he's going to keep having the runway. He's the number one pick. But he's been terrible. Dart hasn't been great either. He's been like 8 concussions, always in the thing, but he's shown signs of a franchise quarterback, which is why he's going to keep getting chances. Shedeur has 4 games, and every single play is like, up, he's not it. Up, he's it. Up, he's not it. Up, he's it. We're not doing that with any other rookie quarterback. And I'm not saying Shedeur is going to be the greatest. I think he's going to be a very good franchise quarterback. But give the kid the same chances his draft class is getting. Because right now they talk about drafting Mendoza next year, and he hasn't shown nothing. Come on, son. The plays and the passes that Shedeur is making is like, yo, that's a franchise quarterback. Those are NFL throws. I could build on that. Because the whole hoopla around it, it's being so micromanaged, and it's messed up. I think that's my biggest issue. So,
yeah,
yo,
I think
perfect timing, baby.
You are when we initially have the Shedeur conversation. I think what people have to take into consideration is that we as a people have celebrated nepotism within the sports, and specifically when it comes to Deion Sanders being a black man, being somebody that has accomplished so much in the game, one of the greatest players ever to play the game. We have celebrated nepotism. We have even said that, listen, I'm all for it, and I'm all for guys benefiting from their fathers having established careers or having great careers or having iconic careers. My problem with that is going back to what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago with the Sherrone Moore is that you can't celebrate the nepotism and be mad at the criticism. You can't celebrate the nepotism and not understand that there are things that come with that, right? And so if the nepotism is a part of what allows you to be viewed as a player, because we can all agree, and I know you're going to disagree because that's your man, but we can all agree that Colorado is not primetime television if not for Deion Sanders, right? And so the quarterback at Colorado, a random Joe Schmo, a random Nick Smith, a random this guy, that guy, does not get the looks, does not get the eyes, does not get the TV doors if he throws for the same amount of yards as Shedeur, if he has the same amount of touchdowns, and if he has the same percentage. He does not get the looks. So we are saying, right, that Shedeur was put in this position because of his skill sets, because he balled out when it was time to, which he did. Yeah. We can't just skip past the door that was open. You can't just skip past the door that was open and deal with the room, because at the end of the day, somebody got to have a key for you to get in the door. And the person with the key was his dad. Now, that's cool. Let me finish. It's cool if your pops want to open the door for you, because we see this in businesses all the time with people. But the reality is that Joe Schmo at Colorado does not get drafted the first round, and Joe Schmo Colorado might get drafted in the fifth round. He might get drafted in the fifth round with them same numbers. Now, that being said, going back to your point about people not criticizing him the same way they criticize Cam Ward, people or not criticizing Cam Ward the same way they criticize him. That's what come with it. That's what come with the nepotism. That's what come with the limelight. That's what come with the fame. You are more famous than even superstars in the league right now. You get what I'm saying? So with the fame comes, whether you are a kid or not, with the fame, with the limelight, with the legendary at the draft class, with the interviews, with all of that is going to come criticism. Now, my question to you is, did Deion, their camp, Shedeur, and all of those people, did they add to some of the unnecessary criticism? Because they were not criticized like this a year ago, 2 years ago. Everybody loved them. The whole nation was on them. Everybody was a fan. People was buying Colorado shirts, Jackson State shirts. They were America's sweetheart. What changed was that when they got into the draft process, they started moving like, yo, we should be valued way more than anybody else. So we're not going to do this, we're going to do that, we're not going to do this, we're going to do that. And your decisions, which is fine, that's your decisions. But you got to know that when you come in with your own quote unquote process that goes against their process, you got to know what that comes with.
I hear you. So, so on the nepotism point, you're right. If it was Shedeur Smith, we wouldn't be talking about it. But that's fine with me, because like you said, that happens all the time. my motto or what I go off is the talent has to meet the opportunity. I don't care how you get the opportunity. You need the talent to sustain it. Same thing told Sherrone Moore. You need to have the mental health. You need to be prepared for the opportunity when the opportunity comes. Shedeur can't help that his dad is one of the greatest athletes of all time. He was born into that. Nothing would change. What he could help is he wants to play quarterback. I need to put in the work. And he knew, and everybody knew, once he was on a college team on the national stage, everybody's going to be watching because it's Deion Sanders' son. He had the opportunity. Now we were all tuned in. That's what nepotism got. We got on ESPN and Fox and all these primetime slots. If Shedeur went on a Friday night ESPN game at TCU and stunk it up, we would be wilding on him. It will be a big embarrassment. We'll be wilding on him. But he didn't. This man was throwing for 300 yards, touchdowns, all these different things. His talent met the opportunity. I use these examples all the time. Northwest got a position, got a part on The Lion King on Broadway.
Yeah.
She got that opportunity because of nepotism. Kanye West is her father, one of the greatest entertainers of all time. She's only there because of Kanye. She has an opportunity. She was terrible. She was terrible. She was not singing well. There's a child singer who could have bodied that role that Northwest had. She was terrible. The talent did not meet the opportunity. On the other end, John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son. The only reason why I went to go watch Tenet was because this was Denzel Washington's son. I want to see what Denzel Washington's son could do. Denzel is the greatest actor, one of the greatest actors of all time. Exactly. And why would the only way we would have known he's a good actor if not for his dad. So I'm never mad at the opportunity or how you got the opportunity. I'm mad when you have the talent. So when people want to use the excuse or use it as like a strike against him, like, oh, we wouldn't have known you if not for your dad. So what? He balled out. He took the opportunity. So if we now know him, I don't care about Shedeur Smith. I care about Shedeur Sanders. And he could actually play a quarterback at a very high level, and he plays well. And like I said, his college career warranted him to be drafted in the first and second round. Nobody can say that. Mendoza, who just won the Heisman Trophy, the 2025 Heisman Trophy winner, has half of the passing yards that Shedeur Sanders had. He threw for 2,000 yards, and he's the Heisman Trophy winner, bro. But Shedeur was not good enough. He was not good enough. He was only good enough to be drafted in the 5th round. The kid who threw a 74% completion rate, game winners, and all. Bro, people were up until 2 o'clock in the morning watching this
Indiana
kid.
don't win the national championship. That's all you better hope.
No.
Listen,
Mendoza better hope he balls out.
Mendoza better hope win the national championship.
Mendoza better look amazing, because that's what's so crazy to me too about Mendoza. It feel like he came out of nowhere. People just needed to crown somebody to make it for the fact that everybody said the 2025 draft class was going to be the best draft class they ever saw. Arch Manning, Mendoza, Dante Moore, and all these quarterbacks were supposed to be amazing. The season went on, and it was like, oh, these quarterbacks look mid. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the year, oh, Mendoza, look at this kid. He looks so, like, get out of here, bro. Nobody was talking about it. All of a sudden, Mendoza is better than Shedeur and is the savior of Cleveland. It's all these little excuses to cover the fact that people just don't want to say, I was wrong. Shedeur is not a 5th round quarterback.
I don't think he's a 5th round quarterback. My point was that we can't celebrate the nepotism and then hate what comes with it. That's my whole point. There's always going to be criticism that comes with it. So now you don't judge the other actor the same way you judge Northwest. You don't judge the other actor the same way you judge Denzel's son. You're not judging them on the same scale. Because why? Because of who their parents are. And so there is, and I'm not saying, again, when I say judging them, I'm talking about the popularity of the criticism or the limelight that's on the criticism, right? Because there could be a bunch of talking heads talking about Cam Ward, right? There's a lot of people saying how the Titans are trash, how Cam Ward hasn't really lived up to the hype of this year, even though he's a rookie, and all of these guys are rookies, and we're trying to see what they're like, right? But no, like you said, nobody cares. The same way you said nobody cares about Dylan Gabriel. The same way you said nobody cares about this person. Nobody cares. Okay, so if nobody cares about these guys and everybody's just supposed to care about this guy, then you can't expect just one perspective on this guy. You gotta expect multiple perspectives on the
That's fine.
situation. So my point is, the reason why I think, first of all, the Northwest and the David joint, Washington joint, it's a bad example. It's a bad
great example. I don't know
because Northwest is not competing against nobody. John Washington is not competing against anybody. And I'm about to swing it because at the end of the day, I told you, Colorado is playing against Kingsborough Community College. And you talk about Mendoza, who is playing against top tier talent. Shedeur
don't matter.
Win the ball game. What are you
it don't matter.
about?
It don't matter.
He had a losing record one of the years. So what are we talking about?
After the 1-11 year where nobody's talking about Colorado, the worst team in the that's fine.
You can't say, yo, and now everybody's talking about Colorado, and then when they don't do well, you can't say everybody should just be happy that they're just there.
It's not happy.
Football. You came with a Heisman Trophy winner. You came with a guy that you said should be the first pick. A first round pick in the NFL draft. You cannot have this talent and fail that bad and say, oh, y'all should just be happy that they came to Colorado and boosted the economy and made the Buffaloes a great team and made the school all this money. Yes,
but they
did all of those things. But you cannot say Shedeur is a number 3 pick in the draft. That's what you believed he was. You believed he was the number 3 pick in the draft. And you can't say that they had a Heisman Trophy winner along with all of these other pieces. They brought in a guy who was the number 1 player in high school on offense. They brought in all these guys. Dion had pulled when it came to his recruitment, and they didn't really do anything. All they did.
See, it's crazy.
Perspective is everything. They didn't do anything for you to say that Mendoza shouldn't be regarded as high as Shedeur. Look who he's playing. Look who your man's is playing. Sheepshead Bay. Your man's is playing Sheepshead. What are we talking about? Look at them now. Ain't they like 1-15 right now?
Right, exactly, and that speaks to the talent that Shedeur had. That the team is now booty juice without them.
My thing is, listen, we got the nepotism. Cool, we cool with it. We praise it. We love it. We think it's incredible. But you got to understand that just like if you had a company, right? Let's say you had a law firm. Your son come working in the law firm. He's going to get critiqued differently because because there are people who feel like he had a better opportunity, whether he worked hard for it or not, whether he performed at that level or not. There are people who put a lot of pain in the game. There are people who not going to get, and again, I'm not saying that they should over this guy whose father has put in pain, but at the same time, people are going to critique you, not just based on the work, but based on how easy it was for you to get through the door.
But and I don't think that's fair, because if my son is not working at the law firm, say he's a manager, nepotism isn't fair, and that's a fact of life that none of us can change. But I only care that you step in and you do a good job.
Right.
I feel like when you ask a football player or a basketball player who's the best player you know, they're gonna say it's Ray Ray from the hood. They're gonna say it's my cousin who used to play on the block. That's the best athlete they know. There's always somebody better than you. I truly believe that. I truly believe that even the people we see in the NFL, whatever, those aren't the greatest in life, the greatest players. They just were they got put in great position, and they were able to meet that standard. They were able to capitalize and put in the work to be there. But that doesn't mean they were the best person absolutely for the job. So I think it's the same thing with Shedeur. Yeah, I wouldn't categorize him as like taking somebody else's position, because you were put in a position of opportunity. It's on you to capitalize and do the work, and I feel like he did. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest figures on earth. Forget sports. He's a brand that will last the test of time. Even him, with all the money and the resources in the world, he couldn't make his sons good at basketball. He couldn't will his son. No matter how many good shooters he put him with, how many great teams or coaches, whatever, his sons was not good at basketball. So nepotism and the opportunity don't matter. But even still,
Michael Jordan had enough money. Michael Jordan had enough money to make his kids at least decent enough to get an opportunity. For sure.
But when we saw them
100%.
playing, it wasn't good. It
When
wasn't
did we
good
see them?
enough.
They didn't want to play. They didn't want to be NBA players. They played on teams, but they didn't want to be NBA players.
You think LeBron wanted Bronny to be his ceiling is like 6 men of the year? You think that's what Bron had in mind for Bronny? No, he wanted Bronny to be wanted to reach his standard. He wanted Bronny to be an amazing player. I'm sure as a father seeing his son go along the same path as you want him to be great too. I don't think Bron had in mind that Bronny was good. His ceiling was going to be a 6-man off the bench, but that's how it folded. So for Dion to now have a son, you think Bronny's ceiling is high as 6-man?
No, I think his ceiling is lower than that, and I think LeBron knows that. I think LeBron knows that. I think he's always known that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not just nepotism. When it comes to sports, it's a great equalizer.
But I think it's a great equalizer. Mike and Bron, even and Dion, I think Mike was so great that, and his mindset was that, like, and he even said it, like, that's why he doesn't coach, because he's expecting him. He's expecting himself out of everybody he coached. You get what I'm saying? I don't even think that he wanted his kids to play. I don't even think he wanted his kids to play. If he wanted his kids to play, them kids would have played. If he wanted his kids to play, them kids would have played. But again, like, I don't want to divert off the topic, but I think the Shedeur situation comes down to this. Has he shown you enough for you to say this?
Yes, because and that's what we that's what we need to get to, because we need to be reminded of what makes a good quarterback. And I feel like when it comes to Shedeur, we are now throwing a lot of qualities out the window just so we can make our point. When I see a quarterback, I want him to be accurate. I want him to be able to use his legs. I want him to be tough. I want to feel at the end of games, if we're down 7, that this guy can drive down the field and get a touchdown. He has shown all of these things. I want to see a quarterback who has issues and works on them and gets better. He has shown that. We talked about drifting in the pocket. We talked about footwork. Every single game, he's shown that he could get better. And in the last game with Titans,
with the Bears,
down to
with the Bears,
with the Bears, showing accuracy, Shedeur has been the leading rusher for the Browns these last 2 games. They have that's not crazy? That's not crazy. These last 2 games, he has the most rushing yards on the team. They have no run game. So when you have no run game and your quarterback is the leading rusher, that means every single offensive play rises and falls on the rookie 5th-round draft pick who just started getting reps with the first round. I'm sorry, we have to look at the whole totality of the situation. So when we look at the game with the Bears now, the Bears are on fire right now, having playoff and Super Bowl hopes with a 3rd-year quarterback, amazing freak of nature talent. You're asking your rookie quarterback for every offensive play to rise and fall on his shoulders. And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm saying let's look at the situation, and we know that this is a terrible team. They're 3-100. We're at a point now. Let's look at the players and see what we got. Let's look at the talent. And then when you just boil it down to the talent, Shedeur is 100% a franchise quarterback, bro. The throws that he was making just today was like, bro, people in the league are not making these throws. Being able to escape, being able to galvanize your team and put them on your back. He's shown that. And then your rookie running back who's really good, Quinshon Judkins, got 7 yards. What are you supposed to do? What is he supposed to show you? What else does he need to show you to be like he deserves a shot at building a team around him?
Yeah, I think you're answering a different question than what I'm asking. I think it's fair to say that I haven't seen enough for me to stamp him as a turn the franchise around quarterback. And it's also not enough for me to say write him off, right? So I think that it's like I have not seen from his Colorado days and even from what I've seen now, I have not seen that from him turn the Browns franchise around. I don't see those skill sets in him. I see spurts. I see little things where I'm like, okay, like that's a good play. I think sometimes what we do in sports is we talked about this about the Austin Reeves thing. We take spurts and we say this is what this person is capable of doing consistently. It's not always true, right? I think he has more consistent weaknesses than he has more consistent strengths. And I will also say, when you are a fan of somebody, which you're a hardcore, you are down. When you are a fan of somebody, you have a lot more patience for that player than everybody else. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth. You would have looked, if that was Daniel Jones, you would have looked at him and said, that's not it. He's not our franchise quarterback. He's not the guy to turn things around. He's not the guy to flip this upside down. And so when you are a fan of somebody, and again, I don't think Daniel Jones is amazing, but I think that he was good enough to be at least kept and considered. But I don't think he's a turn your franchise around player without the right. Like y'all think Shedeur is Joe Burrow turn your franchise around without all the. He needs a system. He needs a system. And
which is fine.
When you're saying this guy deserved to be a first round quarterback, you are saying that you can build around this guy with decent amount of talent and still get by. Not with Shedeur's the type of person that needs A-level talent in order to turn the franchise around. Yes, he is. When you look at how late he throws the ball, he does that more consistently than he throws the 50-yard bombs. He does that more consistently. When you look at his feet, even though he's been running well over the last couple of games, when you look at how late he realizes that he needs to run. When you look at you want to talk about accuracy, this is a kid, and again, I want to make a disclaimer that he did not have the same camp opportunity, training, or even practice that Dylan Gabriel had. So we are judging things based off of what he has had. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done the best with what he's had, but I'm saying that I'm going off of everything that I've seen from him from Colorado to now. I don't think we think he has the same ceiling, but I also think it's okay for me to be like, yo, I haven't seen enough for me to be like that. This is their franchise quarterback, and there hasn't been enough for me to say, yo, they should just write him off and go draft what's the boy name Mendoza. Like I haven't seen him do enough of the great things consistently for me to say that. And I think that's okay for y'all to realize. And it's okay for y'all to also say, like, yo, there's some plays here and there that I'm like, if he keeps doing this consistently, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, for sure. And that's the thing. Even the things you talk about, like the drifting and the footwork, I didn't see that. From what I watched, I didn't see that today. I just saw stifling defense. I saw no run game, and I did see him make some bad decisions. I did. But to your Daniel Jones point, I admit I was wrong about that. I was screaming for Daniel Jones to get up out of here because I didn't think he was a quarterback, and then he goes to Colts in a system and he balls out. Because I agree, there's so much deeper things that needs to change with the Giants for us to be successful. I don't see Dart. Dart was drafted in the first round. I don't see Dart as a turn your franchise around with the players. He needs Scatterboo, who's turning out to be a star. He needs Malik Neighbors, who's turning out to be a star. He needs a defensive line that we have who's one of the top who can be one of the top defensive lines in the league. He needs that. So I don't think that just because you were drafted in the first round, you need to. Even with Cam Ward, literally nobody's talking about Cam Ward being 1-300 because they recognize that the Titans are a terrible team. Nobody has knocked Cam Ward because they recognize the base talent that he has and said if he gets pieces around him, he can ball. I'm saying the same thing about Shedeur. I'm not saying he's a freak athlete, but I think he has the mental and I think he has the accuracy and the ball placement and the playmaking ability to the same way with Cam Ward
ball placement, bro.
The same way that Dart can use his strength is using his leg, and he also has he has a big arm, all these different type of things. You play to the strengths of your quarterback. All these three quarterbacks are not the same, but they have different strengths. But I also think they're all good enough that if you take the time and the patience with them, they will be I'm going to use the word great. They will be great franchise. I could see these three being the Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger's, because teams don't want to, and I feel like this leads to a bigger conversation. The NFL has lost all patience. I've never seen anything like this. There's no more patience with quarterbacks no more. It's insane to me. We're like, everybody's looking for their quarterbacks to come out of to come out of college, already made packages, and then college is not even preparing. I don't care what level you play at. Every quarterback is coming into the NFL needing to start from scratch down there because even the way they do their snap count is different in college. So like you got to have patience. And I'm saying if Shedeur has the resources around him, he has a coach that's invested in him. You can't tell me he's not going to be a fire franchise quarterback. He has the tools, bro. He has the tools. This guy's way more mobile than people think. He's bigger. He's tough. Come on, son.
We just define the tools differently because I think you look at spurts and you're like, yo, this is something to build off of.
It's not spurts. We watched it for 2 years, bro. Come on, it's not just spurts. You watched it for 2 years in college.
We watching for 2 years against nobody. Cut it out.
Like, come on, son. See, and I don't want to. We keep doing this like, oh, he did. Bro, listen. Miami didn't even make the playoffs. Cam Ward didn't even make the playoffs, bro.
Here's what I would say about Cam Ward in a little bit, and then I'll get to like your point about patience and Shedeur. What I'll say about Cam Ward is that Cam Ward has all of the athletic skill sets and intangibles that you would look for in a turnaround. I'm not saying he can be because I don't think he can, but I think historically speaking, when you look at his skill sets and look at his strengths, you think, okay, this is the player we need for a team that sucks because he can make something out of nothing. You get what I'm saying? And so teams that are terrible, I'm talking about prior to this year, I'm talking about when you look at his college career, like teams that are terrible are looking at the same thing with Jackson Dart. You're looking for, when you're terrible, you're kind of looking for the player that you feel like can make something out of nothing when your offensive line is terrible, when you don't have the receivers, when you're not sure about a running back, because the Giants, we weren't sure about a running back until like we actually saw Scatterbo play. You get what I'm saying? And so like we were still running Tracy at the start at one point in the beginning. You know what I mean? So we weren't even sure about our starting running back. And so I think the Jackson Dart pickup or draft was kind of similar to the Cam Ward draft where it was, yo, let's get a guy who can move, who's quick, who's strong, who's aggressive, and we feel like can make something out of nothing. Again, has that panned out to be anything good? No. None of that has panned out yet. But with the Shedeur thing and patience, I think we think the patience in the NFL has run out, when in reality it's just the landscape and the situation. We come from a time, we don't really come from a time of patience as much as we come from a time of you get drafted and you become a backup. You know what I'm saying? You get drafted in the first round and become a backup quarterback. And you're gonna sit under this guy for a year, 2 years, and you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, figure out the playbook. You're gonna learn, you're gonna be mentored, you're gonna be poured into by this guy because he's gonna teach you how to be a leader. He's gonna teach you how to be a professional. He's gonna teach you different things. You might have the skill sets, but you might not necessarily understand how to carry the weight of the responsibility of a starting quarterback in the NFL yet. And so it's not that guys don't have patience. It's just that guys draft these quarterbacks and they have no choice but to play them right now. I have to play you right now.
Yeah.
And I got to keep my job. So it's not that I'm trying not to be patient with you. It's just that they not patient with us. You know what I'm saying? They trying to let us go if we're not winning games. And so the goal is always to win games. If you're a coach or a general manager or a president, like your goal is always to win the game. Like how do we get to a point where we can have a winning record? You know what I mean? Like you look at the Lions. That was the kind of like the last really patient team where they were terrible for so long. But guess what they did? They kept the coach. You get what I'm saying? They kept the coach who they believed in, who they felt like was bought in to the team, bought into their players and their system, and they felt like they had something in the locker room to build off of. Now it's not necessarily about the patience when it comes to the quarterbacks or the young guys. It's that like we clipping everybody early.
But that's why your man Stefanski got to go, because he got the same runaway as a Dan Campbell, and he didn't bring no coach to that team. There's no winning culture in that building. Dan Campbell stayed for that long because his opening press conference said we gonna claw at your heels. We're going to bite your ankles. And if you knock us down, we're going to get right back up and punch you in your face. He brought a certain attitude and culture to that team. And so the organization trusted him to bring it there. I don't think Kevin Stefanski does anything to make that team believe in themselves.
That's hard to say.
I don't see nothing in that team.
I'll tell you why it's hard to say that. Because Steven Stefanski is our name hard to say. Kevin Stefanski probably brought them to more wins than they had in years. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you have a coach, and again, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be let go. Like, I don't think he's doing a great job. But when you have a coach that you finally got to the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how many years. Like, I'm talking about like probably before we were born. You know what I'm saying? And you finally got this coach, and he's able to do. But the thing with the Browns, in my opinion, I feel like there are some moves that can kind of shake things up, and then there are some moves that blow things up. For instance, I'll go to basketball for a second, right? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the whole trust the process? Philadelphia 76ers. Mm-hmm. All it took was for Ben Simmons to be terrible, to be a diva, to be injury prone, to not want to even shoot the ball or lay the ball up, to not go to practices on time, to be a bad team. All it took was for that to happen, for this team to be now at a place where they don't know where they're going. I say the same thing for Deshaun Watson, right? You bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson, who this is, at some point in his career, a star quarterback, right? At some point in his career, he's throwing over 3,000 yards. At some point in his career, he's doing all the things that you want to see in a guy that can turn your franchise around, right? Yeah. He has his scandal. He comes back and he's just terrible. He's just terrible. And then he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times people don't want to talk about like what coaches got to deal with when you finally feel like you built a certain culture. You built a little winning culture. Y'all had like maybe two straight winning seasons, maybe three. And now you get the guy. Now you get the guy. You get the guy now. And then he turns out to be bad.
Terrible,
and now you got to start all over again. You get what I'm saying? So how much of that is on coaching, or how much of that is on some things just happen that blow everything up? Like people blame, who was the Sixers coach? Was it Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers was the Sixers coach with Ben Simmons. Yeah. But there was another coach before that they had. I
forgot his name.
Like, people blame those guys. But it's like, yo, all he had to do was lay the ball. He didn't even want to score. They would have been to the finals a few times if they just didn't have this one cancer on the team that just blew things up.
I hear you. So
I think what we do as fans sometimes is, I think sometimes we can tend to be like pro player a lot. Like we can just tend to be like just pro player. Nobody cares about the players. Nobody cares about these guys. And we're just going to like blame the system. But yo, some of these guys, they make $1 million. Ben Simmons, for instance, was making the super max. And they they don't care no more. They don't care. At what point are we going back to the Shedeur thing?
Yeah.
At what point are we going to say, yo, we do believe that you deserve a better chance. We do believe that you deserve a fair shake and that the coach should probably be more invested in you. But at what point do we say, yo, you kind of rubbed people the wrong way in your process? At what point do we say that?
I don't think that matters now. I've been saying that. I don't think it matters now because I don't think the punishment fit the crime. Again, release the tapes. I don't know what these tapes said, man.
You don't want the tapes to be released. You don't.
I want these tapes. I don't think the punishment, because a lot of teams need a quarterback. A lot of teams, for you to overlook the talent. And that's what I'm saying. I don't care about the wins and losses with the Browns. Because first of all, Browns not my team. I don't care. But I'm watching football. Some of these teams that pass on a quarterback is insane. For what Shedeur has shown, you can't tell me Steelers or Saints, Raiders, or even the Giants couldn't have taken Shedeur and built him to be a franchise coach. You can't tell me that. From the talent that he's shown, the bare bones that he showed, you can't tell me that he deserves to be passed on by every single team in the NFL, and that this next draft has the quarterback that everybody's been looking for. That's what I'm saying.
There's not a lot of people saying that. Y'all come on, man. Bro, there's not a lot of people saying that.
They said it, bro. Arch Manning was supposed to be the. Arch
Manning still
Manning
that guy.
was
Don't do that.
supposed to be
Don't do
that
that.
guy this year.
He's still
This
that guy.
year.
He's
Don't
still
be
that
like next
guy.
year. He was projected number one
He's still
pick,
that guy. They
projected
snubbed
Heisman winner, and he wasn't even on the list. Not even top 10. Bum, bro. 2028 is his year. 2028.
You dragging him. He's not a bum. He played. He still, as much as you trash him, he still had a good year. He still had a good year.
In comparison to what he was supposed to do, Arch Manning failed.
In comparison to your height and what you're supposed to do is two different things.
The standard that they didn't even make the playoffs, bro. That's a fit. They failed.
We know what that. We're not gonna get into that because that's a whole nother.
All this to say, Shedeur deserved a better shot. And tying it all back into the responsibility of leadership. I do think that he had a responsibility to do the combine properly, go to the meetings. I do feel like they smelled themselves a little bit too much. I do feel like they understood what they had in terms of like, yo, we setting the world on fire right now. I'm playing well. We revived this whole organization. We doing numbers on Fox. He probably went into it like, yo, we are offering you a huge thing instead of just focusing on.
He went to it like, we're hiring you, not you hiring me.
Yeah. But like I said, with this NIL and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot of players who move like that. I'm not saying it's okay, but you can't make everybody get drafted in the 5th round. If any players is
watching this, don't move like that. Your father is not Deion Sanders.
They already moved.
If you lose the millions that you got from the NIL, you don't have $1 million dad. Do not move like that. Go do the combine, work through the process, do the interviews. Yeah. Don't fail to install. Do what you got to do to make sure that you get your foot in the door. The thing with Shedeur, again, we can say the crime don't fit the punishment, but at the same time, like we talked about even with the Sherrone thing, like all of these coaches are cool. All of these GMs are cool. And somebody might have got a bad look from him, and they text one of their men like, yo, homie came in a little like, what's going on? And then somebody was just like, damn, like they coming in like this? This how they moving? No, I don't want that attention. I'm trying to win games. I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to win games. I'm trying to, again, I agree with you. The talent is the talent. But at the quarterback position, these guys want a guy who is going to play for the front of the jersey, not just the back of the jersey. You get what I'm saying? So I think they rubbed people the wrong way. They rubbed people the wrong way, and I don't think they will ever admit that. I don't think they will ever admit that. As much as people can admit, if Shedeur balls out over the next year, and he has a great year next year, as much as people will admit, yo, like people were wrong, they will never say, yo, we should have did things a little better. We probably should have moved a little bit. And that's my problem. My problem is everybody want everybody to be like, yo, y'all were wrong, which I don't think y'all can say that yet. I think y'all can say that right now because of what he's done. But y'all can't say that yet. You against a good team, the Bears is the only good team you played all year. The Bears is the only good team you played, and you ain't scored a touchdown. And you did not score a touchdown. You did not score a touchdown. You balled out against the Titans. Yeah. You took a loss. You balled out against, what was it, the Raiders? You won that game. You get what I'm saying? Now you about to play the Bills next week.
Bro, it's about to be lit nasty.
A franchise turnaround quarterback is you can't just beat the Raiders.
But bro,
you can't just beat the Raiders.
But bro, set the
up against.
But set the expectation for all the rookie running back quarterbacks. Cam Ward has not looked good against nobody. 100%. They lost every game. So that's what I'm saying. We can only look at and piece together.
That's not how nepotism works. You want nepotism, King? That's not how nepotism works.
No. I don't want nepotism. No.
You want fair nepotism?
No, it has to be fair. I'm saying
a fair shot. It's nepotism. He's Deion Sanders' son. Nobody's going to talk about Cam Ward on ESPN.
You're basing it off of like as if only the fact that Deion is his father is the fact that he's here. I would understand
that's not
that.
What I'm saying.
But no, I'm saying, but your point will be valid if the only reason why Shedeur has his position is because Deion said, "Here, you be quarterback of this team." That's not the case. He's worked for this position. He worked hard for it.
Yes.
So now that I've worked hard to be here, judge me as all the rest of the rookie quarterbacks. Don't add more sauce and don't take no sauce away. That's all I'm saying. So if
Cam judging you We're not judging you like we judge Cam Ward. You know why?
On the
Because you
field,
said
you
we
have to.
sabotaged you. You said we
He didn't
killed
say
you.
that. He
You
didn't say
said we
that.
violated you. You get what I'm saying? This is what y'all said. Dion went on
Bro,
the joint and said, "Why
if
would we go to that? Why would we go to? Why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we do?" So you're making power moves. You're doing
mhm.
all of these things, and you want people to judge you like they judge Cam. Y'all can't say, Shedeur fans can't say, we don't care about nobody else, and then be mad that people don't care about nobody else. You can't say that.
no,
You can't be
no,
mad that nobody, like, people are out there critiquing Cam Ward. People are out there critiquing Jackson Dart. People are out there critiquing freaking Dylan Gabriel was getting killed. Everybody was like, yo,
it's
he's
terrible.
not
It's
that guy.
trash.
You get what I'm
He's
saying?
not.
But
Mhm.
at the same time, you're not gonna hear that louder. That's not gonna be louder.
It's not about being loud. I don't mind it being loud. I'm just saying. You just said Shedeur has to. You can't just beat the Raiders and lose to the Titans and then look this bad about against the Bears.
And then be
And I'm saying,
labeled as a franchise turnaround quarterback is what I'm saying. Cam Ward, you're not that right now. You're not that right now. I'm saying he's not that right now. Cam Ward is not a franchise turnaround quarterback. Jackson Dart hasn't shown me anything that he's a franchise turnaround quarterback. And I'm saying the same thing for Shedeur. I haven't seen anything from any of those three guys. And I'm putting them on an equal plane. I haven't seen anything from any of those three guys that tells me they can turn the particular franchises that they're on. They can turn those franchises around. I haven't seen it consistently. I've seen Jackson Dart do good things. I've seen him make really good passes. I've seen him run for touchdowns. I've seen him lead the team down the field and go on to beat the Chargers and the Eagles. I've seen that. And I'm even saying he's beat two of the best teams in the NFL. And I'm even saying, no, I don't think he's it. You get what I'm saying?
And I'm saying,
and I can say the same thing for Shedeur Sanders. It's okay for me to be like, I haven't seen anything for me to say stamp him, but I also haven't seen anything for me to write him off.
And here's the difference. Dart 100% has a job next year. Cam Ward 100% has a job next year. Shedeur might be going back to QB4 next year if he don't show that he's the greatest quarterback in 3 more games. I think that's the unfair part.
Doing this when you're interviewing. I'm sorry. Don't walk in my office doing this when you're interviewing. Don't do it.
He didn't do that, bro.
Do it.
All he said
in my
was,
office with your headphones.
if you want to change that franchise around, pick me. That's what he said.
No, don't come in here thinking that like you already the guy to do it. Again, have your confidence, but also recognize the opportunity. Recognize the fact that this is a privilege. Recognize the fact that like being able to be in the NFL is no small deal.
And I
get
think
what I'm saying? And he walked into that joint thinking like, I was like this was already mine. Like, what do you mean I gotta answer your question? What do you mean? Like, this is already
that's
y'all
how,
already
that's
seen what
how
I
you're
do.
supposed to move, man. That confidence.
No.
Listen, I agree. I think he went in there a little bit too cocky, a little bit too pompous. I can see that. I can see a world where that happened. I still don't think that warrants him to now have one of the toughest paths to lead a franchise, especially when he has the talent to do so.
What we talked about, the responsibility of leadership, the responsibility of fame, the responsibility of being that guy, being LeBron James. You labeled yourself the chosen one at 17. You're gonna be critiqued differently. We're gonna criticize you for every shot you miss. We're gonna criticize you for every game-winning shot you don't take. We're gonna criticize you for leaving your team and going to play with 2 other stars. We're gonna criticize you differently because you labeled yourself the chosen one. You had the great one on your back, tattooed on your back. They had a poster of you in Cleveland before you ever got drafted. Yeah. You got drafted to your hometown, 15 minutes from your house. You know what I'm saying? We're going to critique you differently. So you can't walk in the office and be like, I'm the chosen one. Cool, if you feel that way. But don't be mad that you still got to process. Don't be mad that you still got to do well during this interview because the reality is, you and I talked about this, the reality is, and I don't know if Dion didn't see this, but you didn't really show in your college career this undeniable amount of talent that warrants you not going through the process. Because if Cam Newton, I always bring it up, you know, I bring it up,
Yeah.
Cam freaking Newton said he met with all 32 NFL teams, knowing he was the top pick, knowing he was the guy. But because he understood the fact that there was a certain level of professionalism that it takes for me to have leverage in the future, I gotta move this way. Why wasn't nobody in boy ear telling him, yo, bro, Cam Newton took all 32 interviews. You played for
Yeah.
Colorado. Cam
Right.
Newton won the
It was
BCS.
miscalculation. Yeah.
Cam Newton won the national championship.
One of the greatest
You get what I'm
college
saying?
performances of all time. Yeah. No, for real.
The greatest college football quarterback. Maybe you could argue Vince Young. That's it. You can't argue nobody else. And he took all 32 interviews, bro. And you think
that's fair.
And again, nepotism makes you feel like I can go in here because I probably know you. I probably know I met y'all before. Y'all been at my birthday parties. Y'all been at my, like, we cool. My dad shook your hand last week. We still got business to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like, again, because we may not understand the level of which like people probably really felt a way about his process and felt like he probably, again, we keep saying the punishment don't fit the crime, but we don't really know to
Release the
how he
tapes,
was really.
man.
You don't
Release
want
the
that.
tapes.
You don't want that.
Because here's the thing too. We neglect the fact
There's a
that
reason ask for the tapes to be released. There's a reason.
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that because at that point they're trying to be on a team. They don't want no extra hoopla. At that point, they
tell
were
them
like,
now, release the tapes. Since we stamp
I'll
ourselves.
say that. They're not gonna say that. I'll say that. But we
They'll
can't
never say
act
it.
like part of this is. Now I'm gonna bring race into it. I do believe that part of this is I don't care if you're a rich black man. You're a black man. These teams don't mind because usually the response is, well, there's a bunch of black players in the NFL. There's black quarterbacks. One, if you play the part right, if you come in humble and somber, they'll take you. Also, but if you're brash, if you come in with a DUI and a sexual assault charge, whatever, they'll also take you because now I own you. I've changed your life. If it wasn't for the NFL, you'll probably be spending a year in jail right now. So now I'm beholden to you. So now I have to like kiss the ring. If you have a kid comes in there who doesn't need the money, who has a clean record, no matter how people feel about his cockiness, he's not in no trouble. He's not no drugs, no woman, no nothing. I have nothing on you. There's no controlling you. You have the money and you have a clean record. There's nothing I could do to control you. I think that was definitely part of it. Aside from like, he could do the interviews better. But I'm just, it's not theoretically when we know how the world works. We know how these rich white men work. They just don't want the money. They want the power. If they feel that they can't control, even if you're good, if I can't control you, you're out of here. You're not going to be on my team. You're not. Then there was. We want to talk about anonymous sources that dropped right before the draft. Another anonymous source was that coaches were fearful that Deion was going to take their job. Yeah, that was a legitimate source. They were scared that Deion was. That's all part of it. So I'll be cool if it was just a story of this cocky kid came in and we had to take him down a notch. It was all those things I said before. It was a perfect storm. It was a perfect storm that he only went to Colorado, and because if he was undeniable, it would have been an even bigger thing. If he had a Cam Newton season, it would have been even crazier. But I truly do believe that with Deion's momentum that he was on, which also probably blurred his vision, he was on a big momentum. His son actually being good, people were scared. It wasn't just the interviews. They were like, no, I don't want this. And that's the part I don't like.
That's my only pushback to that. I think that's
this kid is going through this whole process because of what other people are scared about. It's crazy.
I think it's a fair point to assume that like there could be some like power struggle involved in the situation.
It was definitely power plays in here, for sure.
But I also feel like, you know how I feel about this. I have a hard time bringing race into the situation just because I know, like, Deion is the last person that
I
I'm gonna
hear you.
label
I hear
as
you.
black martyr. Like, he's the last person. Like, this dude is Nick Saban's bestie. Like, he's besties with all the white power people. Them his people. When does aside from this, when does Deion really like stand up for us? Like, when can we, like, other than like his personality, how does Deion represent us? And
Bro,
that's
he's
gonna be
been
something when people watch this, they're gonna be like, oh, he's bugging this Deion Sanders now. Let's keep it a step. When it's time to get busy for our issues, where's Deion? When it's time to get active in our struggles and to really speak out for the things that matter and the things that challenge the political powers that be, where is Deion?
I
When you
saw him
got people like,
when he's at
when you
Jackson
got
State.
people, listen, you could have said, you could have said that, like, let's say Brownie was actually like really, 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 really good in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understand how people might want to do, because his dad is like super outspoken, but Deion and his family, they're loved.
True.
So my question is, is it the power struggle, or is it the fact that when they encountered his interview, they realized, holy crap, they're gonna come in here and they're gonna try to make a movie. Holy crap, they're gonna come in here and they are going to try to make this about content. And we don't necessarily, and again, I'm not saying that that's bad, all the way bad, but everybody ain't trying. You see what he said to the NFL commission? Nah, man, you gonna let my brother through the door, right?
Yeah. And
The
what they did though,
photography.
what they did last game,
No,
they let him through that
I'm talking
door.
about the photography,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
His brother, yeah.
videographer. He's like,
His
you
brother
gonna
was
let my,
there last game.
you know what I'm saying? You gonna let my brother be that guy here, right?
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? So they're looking at it as like, yo, are we interviewing Shedeur, or
Mm.
is the brand interviewing us?
Yeah,
You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, again, I'm not saying that your theory may not be true or have some validity to it, but it seemed to me that everything switched and flipped as soon as the interviews happened.
yeah.
Everything flipped. People love, bro. Everybody had them on their list as a top 5. He had
So they
Giants
move like that.
cleats. He
Yeah,
had Giants cleats. Everybody
yeah,
was excited about this kid. You know what I'm saying? I think the moment the interviews happened, people, whether it was true or not, whether that was the reality for Shedeur and them or not, the reality for these NFL coaches and owners was that, holy crap, like, they're interviewing us to possibly come in
yeah,
and bombard the situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, you have a hard time believing that because you're like, they couldn't have been that dumb. But you can be that dumb.
yeah.
Sherrone couldn't have been that dumb. He
It's
can be
true.
that dumb.
Yeah,
You get what I'm
that's true.
saying? People
Yeah,
get a bag and they start to feel a certain level of power. And here's where I will bring race into it. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. You know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
exactly.
Okay.
That's what.
Keep
Yeah,
thinking you keep thinking you
yeah.
just OJ. And then
And
something happened,
yeah.
and now everybody that you thought was your man's, they flip on you. And now all of a sudden you become the man.
Mm-hmm.
And we the ones holding you down. We the ones holding, who was
That's
the ones holding
facts.
Shedeur down? When everybody was like, nah, he deserved to be a fifth round. Who was the one holding him down?
That's true.
You get what I'm saying?
But
We pop out. We
yeah,
always pop out for people that don't be popping out for us. Just like we popped out for your man. Again, I won't get too political. We popped out for Joe Biden. We didn't pop out for, look what he did to Kamala. He sabotaged her.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he didn't hold it down at all.
He didn't
Yeah,
hold her down. And she's the
yeah.
reason he won. Her, Stacey Abrams, the people in Georgia, all of the
Facts.
people,
Yeah,
all of the black activists who started telling people come out to vote. Because
yeah,
we got a black
yeah.
woman on the ticket.
Yeah, and because Obama, he was Obama's vice president. Yeah, we wrote for him. Yeah,
You
yeah,
won because of black people, bro.
facts.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
facts.
Deion, you put Jackson State on the map because we was watching the games.
Right. That's what I say. Like when we were talking about like how much Dion was riding for us, I think his investment in black boys. He said it all the time. He's been coaching his son from when they were in Pee Wee, and he was always also coaching other black kids too. I see that. I see that as put it in the work. He may not have been kneeling with Kaepernick, but I see that as him putting in some work. Even with Jackson State, when he was there, talking about the infrastructure in Mississippi and dealing with the mayor and the AD, you know, trying to get them a better locker room and better roads, and even the water was there. All these different things. He was on the ground doing these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. He got these like white power things, but I think every time a black person is slighted, I don't think it always has to look like Colin Kaepernick. I think that's what people think is like, every time we stand up for a black person, we think it has to be on this mask. Oh, y'all making Shedeur to be Colin Kaepernick. He doesn't have to be. Sometimes black people are just slighted because they don't like to see young, confident black men. That don't mean there has to be a whole civil rights movement, but it can also just be acknowledged. That's part of it too. We're not saying 100%. That he's a martyr. We're not putting him on the cross. We're just saying, oh, there's a little something deeper here. We're not going to be in the streets for him.
Say it, though. Sometimes it's the way we do it. And the way we say
it. Yeah, these pundits be responding to like the big talking heads. When Perk was like, he's as big as MLK. When you hear Perk say that, why would you go on your podcast and respond to that? Like, you know he's trolling. You know he don't. But I guess it's the game where they have to respond. But I'm like, that's not even a large majority of people are not thinking that. That's
not
my
a
whole
talking
thing.
point. That's not even a real talking point.
Right. I'm just trying to say, but people choose to respond to that to now make Shedeur look less like, Shedeur's MLK, you fans are crazy. I'm like, you making it seem like everybody was saying that. No, only one person said that so that he can get views, and now it's a critique on Shedeur's entire fan base. That's
but
weird.
You also got to take this into consideration. Somebody like Perk, he's looking like these guys don't really be tapped in. So what they do is they look at the discourse online, they sum up the discourse, and they make brash, bold, unnecessary clout chasing statements because of the discourse that they see online. And so even though his statement was, hyperbolic and it was a stretch, it was also a result of what he was seeing, the discourse he was seeing online. You get what I'm saying? We know race is always a part of it. To your point about Deion, like, everybody don't protest the same way. Understood.
Right.
But when you have a platform, you have a duty, bro. You have a duty. Like, you could take care of the young boys and you could speak out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I get it. My question to you is, do you think if Deion had got a call for the Clemson job, do you think he would have still went to Jackson State?
Probably not. Because listen, I already said, I was mad that he left Jackson State. It was clear that Deion was trying to make moves. It was clear when he went to Colorado. If he got the Clemson call, I don't think he would have went to Jackson State. At least I don't think so.
If he got the Florida State call, he wouldn't have went to Jackson State. I could give you teams that's not even. I could get. And
TCU?
Again, I think that it was his prerogative to leave and to give his son a better opportunity at Colorado and to give other boys a better opportunity. And he was also going through a whole bunch of stuff over there.
Right.
But, like, he left for Colorado. Imagine.
He was there for 2 years, though. He was there for 2 years. That's all.
But what I'm saying is that you don't even got to ask if he would have took the
right. He would have
because he left for Colorado. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so it's just those big schools, D1 schools, those power, like those big schools, whether they're a top 10 school in the country or a bottom 30 school in the country, they just come with a lot more opportunity. You know what I'm saying? They come with better facilities. They come with a better opportunity to recruit. They come with a bigger budget. You get what I'm saying? Like, he left without even being sure of his pay at Colorado. Like, he was like, y'all can raise the money. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make the money. Like, he left without even being sure of his pay. Because my thing with Deion, as much as I'm a huge, huge, huge fan, I think Deion knows how to play the game so well. And his charisma. And my problem with Deion is that he's not problematic enough. That's always been
that's messed up.
Issue with
There's
Deion.
a lot of black people in power who don't speak out enough, bro. And we can't hold Deion to that standard. A lot of people who who are
But
even
then
in more position.
we can't label his family as a martyr.
But they're not though. They don't have to be
That's
martyrs. Why do people pointing out the fact that part of the reason why Shedeur was slaughtered was because he's black? Why does that not have to turn into him being a martyr?
part of the reason.
That doesn't be the case. It's just a
Yes,
fact of life.
I'm agreeing with you that race always plays a part. I think we also have a duty to tell our sons, our boys, our brothers, our young homies, like, yo, you can't walk up in there like that. Because and then expect us to be like, you did my man wrong. You can't go in there and move like this and then expect the world to be like, you did my man wrong. We see it in the system all the time. I've seen people, bro, in this. I know little homies who know they did something wrong, and then they get to court and they be like, the cop did this to me, or the cop did that to me. And I'm not saying that the cop didn't, whether it's rough them up a little bit, but there has been situations where the cop had no choice but to rough you up a little bit because you was on 10, bro. You was on 10 with a dude with a badge and a gun.
Yeah.
And that's not me siding with the cop. That's me trying to keep young homie alive.
Right.
And so he gets to court and he's not even talking about his crime. He's talking about how he felt after. You feel what I'm saying? So
I don't think that's a good example for Shedeur though. I'm just a good example for Shedeur.
I'm using that as like a talking point for like a
in general,
for the younger homies out there. Like, yo, yes, this is real. Like, systemic oppression is real. The system is built to be against us. It's built to see us die and struggle and be poor and not be successful and to lack. And so we have to, unfortunately, while we're trying to vote and advocate and trying to fix the system per se, we also have to help you stay alive while we trying to fix it. You get what I'm saying? So for me to just tell you, yeah, you was right because of the system, knowing that you didn't move right, you didn't do the things you were supposed to do to kind of move around. You get what I'm saying? You didn't
and that's
move
the hard
right,
part.
dogs.
And that's the hard part because we now get into a system and a rhythm of just playing the game to placate to rich, white, powerful people.
Right.
And that's the sad part. And I'm not saying Shedeur was the one like fighting the system. I'm not trying to make him a martyr, but to the general point of how long do we have to play the game their way? How long do we have to?
I'm gonna read
and
you
it feels
something.
and I know it's like we want to be in these spaces. You gotta do what you gotta do to get in these spaces, but it feels like you may not even bug out, but if you like we talked about before, it feels like every single step has to be perfect. You have to wear your hair a certain type of way. You can't have tattoos. We got a code switch. We got to go to the events. We gotta say the jokes that we don't even think are funny. We got to learn other culture and other lingo and all these different type of things. And it feels like if we misstep, that could cost us our livelihood. It feels too fragile.
I agree with you that the having to play the game thing is not just played out, but it's also exhausting, right?
Exactly.
But I think in addition to that, what we're not talking about enough is that these young people, it's not even that they gotta play the game or they're not playing the game the right way. They're just not professional, bro.
Yeah,
they're just not
that's true.
professional. I'm gonna read you something.
Some of these YNs is walling. Yeah.
This is real. This is real research that I was doing, like learning how to, minister to the next generation. Nearly half of Gen Zers have their mom regularly talk to their boss. You need more?
Nah, that can't be true.
This is real. This is real stats.
What?
31% of Gen Zers had their parent write their resume. Real facts. Real facts.
I ain't never heard of that.
53% had a parent speak with the hiring manager on their behalf. Real facts.
Really?
43% have their parent talk to their current manager. So, like, if I'm calling out, a lot of these 18-year-olds, they'd be like, oh, Mom, can you talk to my...
No way.
I'm dead serious.
No way.
3, 3 and 4. You remember how when we had interviews when we was young, we had to take the train, we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah,
So
we have to figure it
3 and 4
out.
Gen Zers took their parents to their interviews. Listen to this.
No.
Half of Gen Zers had their parents speak. We talked about that. Half of Gen Zers have brought their parents to work just to sit. Just to sit.
No,
Only
that can't.
6% of them have their parents review their performance reviews.
Bro, they still in school.
Shall I keep going? 8 in 10 Gen Zers have their parents communicate with their manager. 50% say a parent spoke to their manager about a workplace conflict. This is what we're dealing with here, bro. And there's more. This is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a generation of kids who either feel like they got to skip steps and go, like, I guess, be a content creator or a streamer or whatever they want to be. Or when they get a job,
you be coddled, you be carried.
They gotta be cuddled and cuddled and carried. And even with the Shedeur thing, we've labeled that confidence. No, it's just a lack of professionalism. And a lack of professionalism isn't always your ghetto, isn't always your wild, isn't always. Sometimes a lack of professionalism is just that you just didn't do the right things. You didn't come in and shake my hand the right way. You didn't come in. Like, all of these things matter. All of these things matter. That's what we learn. Bro, you see these kids, they go into interviews in sweatsuits.
Yo, that's crazy. That's so mind-boggling. That's why it's so hard to believe. It's mind-boggling that that's how it is. I can't imagine.
Yo, bro, you gotta get around some young dudes.
I got to. I might have to.
They are going to school in ski masks. Robbery masks, bro.
Yeah, they be in shiesties. In 80-degree weather, bro.
We thought if we ever walked into anywhere with a robbery, we gonna get shot.
Bro, shot. We were scared with a hoodie, bro.
We didn't even come from everywhere. We didn't even wear certain colors and certain blocks.
Facts. Much less a ski mask. Ski mask, I'll be terrified, bro. During COVID, I was nervous to walk into a bank with my mask on. Like, I was nervous to walk around with a mask.
So it's not that they're doing a lot of these things on purpose. It's just that they are so different from us, right?
Yeah.
Like, we come from the era where, like, our parents was like, I don't care where you're going, you need to look presentable. These kids are going to school in pajamas and Crocs, bitch. I'm dead. Look, this is no lie.
I seen that. I seen the pajamas. Pajamas is crazy. That's crazy.
Pajamas and Crocs and slides. Yeah. Dudes is wearing slides to school now, bro. Slides with the ski mask.
With the ski mask.
How you gonna slide with the ski mask? You can't slide with the slides and the ski mask. That's a you can't slide with the slides and the ski mask. Come on, man.
Yeah, slide with the slides, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
That's what we dealing with right now. They don't even know that they're being unprofessional because bro, we talking about a bunch of kids, right? Brownie, you look at Brownie, right? Brownie's in the NBA. Brownie's making $8 million. Brownie does not go outside. He's one of the best video gamers in the world. These kids don't go outside. They don't experience the world.
Yeah.
They live in comfort, bro. Sheesh. They live in comfort. A lot of these kids never had to get uncomfortable. A lot of these kids never had their parents dip their whole hand in Vaseline and smear it on their face before they go to church or school. They never had to deal with that.
The baby powder all over their clothes.
The baby powder on your chest. A lot of these kids never had a washout before the first day of school.
Listen, man. A whole wash.
They never had that, bro.
A washout. Yo,
so again, it's like, oh, yeah, I got my couple pairs of pajamas. I'm going to school with my pajamas, my Crocs, and my ski mask. So it's not that they deliberately being, unprofessional. It's just that whatever they do right now is acceptable.
Yeah.
Until you gotta go to the NFL, or until you gotta go be a lawyer, until you gotta go be a this or a doctor or this or that, until you gotta go be these things. But they, I don't think a lot of them really want to be any of those professional professions. How many 17, 18-year-olds right now want to be a lawyer?
Right.
How many 17, 18-year-olds right now, you know what I'm saying, want to be a pastor?
And also, but also even if they do they understand the work that's gonna go in? We have a conversation about like paid internships or unpaid internships and like demanding to be paid for internships. I'm like, I'm of the mind to still keep unpaid internships because sometimes you just gotta work. Sometimes you gotta get the experience.
Happening, bro.
It's not happening.
Yo, right now, we have, I think we got 2 interns right now. We wouldn't even think about not paying them.
It would be a lawsuit.
We wouldn't even think.
They're gonna be at your church like, yeah, not paying these young folks. No, for real.
Back then we had. Remember, there was a time where young people just came to the church just to do something,
bro. Facts.
Just came to all week. Went to their parents' job just to do something. Just to do something.
Working,
you get what I'm saying?
Tables,
we didn't have to get
carrying
paid.
Stuff, painting, all of it for free.
Come on, man, but we're not doing that no more. So the Shedeur thing, I'm not saying that Shedeur lacked imperfection. I just think that it brings us to a better or more general talking point of like, not everybody can do that. You get what I'm saying? Not everybody has the opportunity to be, to not do well in that, to not do well in the interviews and still be a millionaire. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And so my whole thing was always like, I just felt like it was setting a bad example
precedent
for the young dudes. Yeah, it was just setting a bad, precedence for the young dudes who was coming up that might think like, oh yeah, so I get to just go in the office and do this and I'm hired. You can't.
I feel like that might just happen anyway with the NIL. It might just happen anyway. But to close out, all that to say is, listen,
this is my last time on here, y'all. Listen, you know I don't like podcasting because I be saying crazy stuff.
Nah, it was good. Nah. It needed to be said.
Appreciate it, bro.
I think what we learned was that, for sure. Take care of your mental. Get you people around you. Get you some community, so you don't end up like the Winter Soldier. I might just call this Winter Soldier. The episode might just be called Winter Soldier.
Why you keep calling him Shamar Moore, bro? Stop calling him Shamar Moore.
Don't be Eric Benet, man. What Jake said, don't be Eric Benet, man. Come on, man.
Have you ever been swallowed? Have you ever? My boy Sherrone being swallowed right now.
Sherrone being swallowed up, bro.
Right now.
Damn.
Nah, no prayers for him though. Love, prayers for him, his family. Yo, listen. See, this is why I don't come on here because he got me. Now I gotta like clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Love everywhere. Real prayers, thoughts. Whoever, family, the wife, the kids, the University of Michigan. Prayers up for all of y'all. Sherrone, prayers up. We hope that you come back. Speedy recovery, my guy. Speedy recovery.
Thanks, man. All right, y'all. It's been the whole lawyer. Peace.